Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is if you have your Sun in Leo and Libra rising. And Leo and Libra form what is called a sextile, which is a cooperative angle. And what that means is that the two elements, the points, the planets, whatever two points are coming together in a very harmonious way. And so they are not at odds with each other, in other words. So the two points that are coming together here, the sun is the aspirational self. It's the most important planet or point in your chart in terms of encompassing the essence of who you came to be. You came here to be in this incarnation. And your rising sign is the cusp of the first house, which is the appearance, the body. It's considered the self, but it's very important to understand that how I would look at the first house is this catch-all house for events in your chart. So for predictive astrology, when you have events in the first house, it's signifying a new cycle and therefore a general new beginning in, or if there's like some element, like let's say a full moon or a lunar eclipse, it could be an ending to something in your life. And um, so it's not the true self, and neither, of course, is a sun sign. That's only dependent on this lifetime. But the sun sign is really what you came here um, to express as your talents, your gifts. And the rising sign to me is the structure of this. So, how do you express them through your persona? And as you get older and you grow into your sun sign, maybe you start to not be as influenced by your rising sign because you are expressing more and more of your talents as you find yourself. I do feel that the rising sign can give a window to the world of your childhood, the influences from your family of origin, and how you coped with that. So in this case, when there is a harmonious angle, and by the way, you need to look at your personal natal chart to see if this is actually forming a sextile or not, to be as exact about this. But both of these signs are harmonious together just because of the elements that they represent, fire and air. So you may have had a childhood that reflects who you want to be now. If somebody has like a square or just an inconjunction or something that's very mismatched between their sun and their rising sign, they may be the black sheep of the family. They may feel like they want to divorce themselves from that type of upbringing and things like that. But no, you may really be in alignment with how you were raised, and you're going to carry that on. And what also this can show, especially if there is an official sextile, is that there is not an inconsistency between who you are and who you, how you promote yourself as your persona, whatever you want to call that rising sign, is that they're in alignment, that they work for each other. Sometimes, for instance, if somebody has like a square between their sun and rising sign, people may have like uncomfortable feelings about them because they may suspect that they're not really being authentic, that they're being fake in some way, and they just don't trust them. You know how that is. I think we've all experienced people that we talk to, and we just don't get this feeling of sincerity in how they are acting towards us versus how we really think they are. We don't know how they are because we just met them, but we still feel that way. So that's what I'm kind of getting at with this combination, is that this is the opposite of that. So this can really confer popularity because, in the first place, Libra at the ascendant is a great ascendant to have, because it can give you wonderful first impressions, regardless, even if you had a square coming from the sun. That frustration might be on your part, but if you have Libra as a rising sign, you can really gloss over a lot of those things when it comes to other people. They may still see your attractive image. Yeah, like the rising sign can be kind of like the image. So when we hear the word image, we don't think that it's the true self. We think of like the facade. But in this case, um, there's more authenticity, in terms of who you really want to be. So the rising sign is going to um, open doors for you. There might be just physical appearance, might be very gracious. You may have um, elegant taste in dress. You may be like physically attractive. Um, but, mainly what I think of are the mannerisms that are very like, polite, polished, instead of being rough around the edges, being polished. And that is something that is appealing to other people. Um, because Leo, as a sun sign, can be very, uh, it's a fire sign, but it can be, when a Leo person isn't balanced, they can be overbearing. They can be arrogant. And when Leo is balanced, they can be warm. They can be very charming. Oh, well, I would say that about Libra as well, is that this combination can be very charming, entertaining, witty. And so that can be very appealing to other people. This is the perfect combination for somebody in show business. Or when I say show business, I shouldn't say that, because I think that might imply like movies or something. What I mean is entertainment of all kinds. But is the ballet considered entertainment? That seems like it's more highbrow than just like entertainment. But anything where you're a performer, because these are two masculine signs, the air and the fire are masculine um, signs, and therefore they are extroverted and they like to show off. I mean, Leo, especially, is known as a show off. And so extroverted people like to be around other people. This is definitely a combination of a person who will probably enjoy socializing quite a bit. Of course, there could be other factors that um, make this less likely. I was going to say, actually, this is impossible probably if the sun is in the 12th house. But how could the sun be in the 12th house if um, Libra is the rising sign? I wonder if it's a possibility, because sometimes you might have a couple of signs or even three signs. Like I have a very large 12th house. That's a good question, if that could even happen. But there are other factors that can determine somebody that is not as extroverted. A square to Saturn, they're inhibited. But in any case, what this can do for a person is it can give you a desire to express yourself creatively, at the very least, whether you're alone and you're painting a portrait, whether you're or writing a poem or writing a screen, well, I was going to say a screenplay, but a play, whether you are in public and you're on stage singing, acting, this is your element. You're in your element because um, Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus can be about the arts. And at the very, very least, you probably love the arts. And that's something that you support, that's something that you are immersed in one way or the other. And going back to the ascendant, this certainly gives a person who is very connected to relationships. And definitely Leo is very romantic as well. So there may be a lot of love affairs. I always say Leo is very lusty as a sign, meaning that, um, how do I put this? Maybe you have a high sex drive, and having, if you're physically attractive as well, this could lead to this conquest mentality that is also rooted in that desire to exercise that romantic nature. You have to look too at your Venus sign or even your Mars sign for more information. If they're in Virgo, either one of those in Virgo, or it might be less likely. But what about if it's in Leo as well? Then there's like that sense of the ego can factor into this as well, because Leo's ruled by the sun, and the sun is our sense of self, which is the egoic self in this lifetime. The Obviously we have a higher self, we have a self that is not attached to the body, the physical life. So when we talk about the soul, that's a totally different thing, you know. And it's not divorced from it, though, by the same token, is that it's connected to it. But this is more of a transient thing. And so, therefore, we're looking at it from that perspective. And so, when I don't want to get it confused, but there, to me, the egoic self is not bad. It's knowing who you are. When we use the word egotistical, a lot of times that's because the person doesn't have a sense of who they are, and they're trying to, um, I don't know, maybe identify with certain things and kind of cling to them in order to feel like they have that kind of permanent identity. And there's nothing that is permanent in this world. So that's what causes a lot of problems, because, you know, they're trying to control things in that way. So, with this combination, there can be this sense of like, who, well, I would say, usually with Leo, when the person has a good foundation on who they are, if they're involved in relationships, they're not going to define themselves through them. But if there are other factors, if the person has a conjunction or hard angle with Neptune, they may have identity issues, and that can make them more susceptible to what the rising sign represents with the Libra energy. Having that need for relationships to define the person. Because really, I think a lot of times when people are overly attached to relationships, it's because they're looking for that other person to give them a sense of identity. But it's really important to note that anyone who is dealing with such a situation, they can find themselves becoming self-empowered through knowing what their talents are. The fifth house that Leo rules is all about um, the joy, pleasure that we seek. And ultimately, it's connected to creativity, and that's where the Leo person shines. And when they tap into that, all of these other things can kind of fall away. And I think, again, that as the person gets older, they will tend to find this to be true. The only thing that could stop somebody from doing so is if they do not acknowledge this early on or actually outright reject it. Yeah, I'm talking about the creative self, because then they might go down. It's like choosing another timeline that might not be in the highest alignment with what they came here to achieve, because that's what I, have been trying to convey, is this idea of the sun sign as the central agent of self-expression. And so with Leo, creativity goes hand in hand with that. And that can take so many different forms. I mean, even a woman who becomes a mother, or we can say a man who becomes a father, is that may be their central creative self-expression, not just creating another life or co-creating another life, but also kind of living vicariously through that child when they are in those early years and highly creative, and stimulating that to a greater degree. Um, I have my moon in the fifth house, and even though I don't have children, um, it's like I'm an honorary moon in Virgo, or well, my moon is in Virgo, but an honorary moon in Leo. And that nurturing part, that moon, I always enjoyed seeing children when I was younger and working or being around them, maybe babysitting or what have you, and seeing them be creative, because to me, that is such an important part of life. And people are always creating anyway. You're either creating a piece of art, or you're creating drama, or maybe you're making babies, but you're doing so indiscriminately, making trouble, doing something. So look at how love, what place love has in your life, and make sure that you're not trying to feed the ego through these connections, that you are really tuning into people at a deep level, and you're not allowing relationships to dictate to you anything in particular that has a negative connotation that is destructive to your life. This combination can be great for anything where you are reaching out to others. Again, that rising sign is such a great calling card. So, I mean, this is a very versatile combination. Leo, the fire signs are, the air signs are, we could call the brainiacs of the zodiac, because they are really focused on the intellect. But fire signs can be very intelligent people. Leos can be very intelligent. As talented as you may be creatively, you may be very intelligent. But what I like about fire signs in terms of their intelligence, it isn't a dry intelligence. It's a very passionate kind of a thing. So for somebody in academia, this can really be inspiring students to great heights of whatever it is that they're trying to achieve in a certain field, or even at younger, the high school teacher that everybody loves, because not only are they warm, but they are passionate about what they're teaching. So you can bring that passion anywhere, and that joie de vivre, or whatever. How I don't speak French. The joy of living to whatever it is that you're doing. And that is so important because, especially these days, because, I don't know, I'm sure that some of you are very aware of how other people go through life, like automatons, robots, just on automatic. Leos, get accused of being drama queens. And I think that, do we say drama kings? Leo gets accused of this, but Leo is larger than life. And Leo wants to bring meaning to life by, expressing themselves to the fullest. My sun is in Sagittarius. I'm a fire sign. Aries is the other fire sign. Fire signs are expansive. So this is a great influence to give to other people to expand their awareness, but expand their sense of what life is about. Leo doesn't like to play small. Leo doesn't like, Leo wants the pomp and circumstance of life, not the kind of routine, drudgery. So don't be afraid to add some color to life. You are going to add some color. I don't have to tell you that you are going to add that to life. So I think this can be a very effusive combination. In other words, a person expresses themselves in a very delightful manner because they're delighted to live life in this sort of way. There's just this sense of pleasure at how they are conducting themselves and how life is showing up for them. I actually think having Libra rising can make such a person, it can rein in that Leo tendency towards the prima donna, the shadow elements. Actually, the sun of every sign will tend to lessen the shadow elements, in my opinion, and make the person more of those noble qualities which we are looking for, because there is a nobility with Leo. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I am promoting my double readings, which are 2 full-length readings, chart analysis, and transits for the next 12 months, whatever those 12 months happen to be. And this is more comprehensive, hence it's called deep dive readings. And I have single readings as well. You can find out all that information at the link below. And those readings, those double readings, are a special price, in case I didn't say that. All those readings are linked at the link below, my order page. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.